Shalom Aleichem, everyone. Hope everyone had a very, very good week. It is Erev Shabbos Parshas Bo, and today's Isaac Soni, and this week's Isaac Soni is being dedicated L'ilui Nishmas Yisrael Mendel ben Avram Yehuda Leib, Mr. Mark Pekarsky, father of Avi Pekarsky, close friend of the Yeshiva. Avi was a Talmud in Mevaseret for 2 years, a couple of years back, and in the middle of his year, his father was niftar, certainly something that affected all of us. His father, very, very special man who we learned a lot about, and this Dvar Torah should be Le'ilui Nishmaso, dedicated by the Pekarsky family. We read in this week's parsha about the Korban Pesach. The Korban Pesach was the get out of jail free card, not free, but that was the ticket to get Klal Yisrael out of Mitzrayim. And a lot of lessons can be learned from the Korban Pesach. I think we've discussed in the past, but in order to do the Korban Pesach, number one, Klal Yisrael had to perform the bris milah. Every male had to have a bris milah and an act of affirmation that I'm linking into bris social Avram Avinu, some act of tremendous mesirus nefesh that would indicate that we are in a positive way linking into the legacy of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That was phase one. That was a prerequisite to Korban Pesach. And then, of course, the Korban Pesach, the Seh, was representative of the Egyptian mazel, the Egyptian koach, the Egyptian power, and being subjugated to the rulership and the lordship of the Mitzrayim for 210 years. So the Klal Yisrael, as again their get out of jail ticket, had to also do an act of rejection of that Mitzri God, of that Mitzri culture, and hence the obligation to go through this process on Yud Nisan to take the Seh. Leave it out. Let it be braying day after day after day, and the mitzvah are powerless to do anything about it. Then take the animal, shecht it, consume it, anything that is left over, burn it, and you have all these detailed halachos of Korban Pesach, all fundamentally to extricate Klal Yisrael from their slave mentality, to enable them to reject the Mitzri culture, the Mitzri way of life, to affirm the Jewish way of life, and that will position them for Yetzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf, and ultimately Kabbalas HaTorah. There's a very, very famous Sefer HaChinuch. The Sefer HaChinuch writes and asks the question on this parsha, on the mitzvah of, I believe it's the mitzvah of Etzem Lo Tishbru Bo, that you're not allowed to break the bones of the Korban Pesach. You study Korban Pesach, so many detailed halachos. It has to be roasted. It cannot be eaten raw. It cannot be cooked. It can't break any bones. It has to be roasted whole. Detail after detail halachos. And often we'll ask the question, does Hashem really care about all the minutiae, about all of the details? Why does the Torah have to give us all of these details? Why is it so important? Is it not enough? Just bring the Korban Pesach however you want to bring it. When it comes to other areas of halachas, so many details just to study Hilchos Brachos and know what bracha do I make on a rice cake. Does Hashem really care if it's a mazonos or adama? Why all the details? I remember when I was studying for Smicha, Hilchos Shabbos here in the Meretz Kola, we were learning Hilchos Shabbos for 2 full years, at least 6 hours a day, and we covered Be'iyun 30 out of 100 simanim. There were 100 simanim in Hilchos Shabbos. We did 30 Be'iyun, and it took us 2 years of hard work, 6 hours a day. The other 70 we covered only B'kiyas. So many details. So the Sefer HaChinuch announces a fundamental yesod. And he says the following: Mitoch ha'ma'asim nimshachim halevavos. Is that sometimes, as a result of actions, deeds, particulars, minutiae, thinking about all the details, so that brings our heart close. That brings us there. That brings us to our destination. If life was simple, if things weren't detail-oriented, so there'd be something very, very amiss, very wrong. But the fact that, yes, we do have a lot of details, mitoch ha'ma'asim nimshachim halevavot. I was just at a wedding this past Friday into Shabbos. Every detail was worked out. The menu was worked out. Place cards worked out. The flower arrangements worked out. Every aspect of the menu, every single detail. You know what? On some sense, you might say it's trivial. What's the difference if every item on the menu is really listed or they missed an item? It doesn't really matter, but the answer is no. When you saw the meticulous care to the details, It showed how much this meant to the family, how much it meant to the chassan and kala, and indeed it significantly enhanced the simcha. And mitoch ha'ma'asim nimshachim halevavot. When a wife asks a husband to do something, and he is yotze zayin, he does the minimum that is required of him, not focused on all the details. Yeah, she wanted him to pick up onions also, he forgot the onions. So there's something missing. The focus on the details does bring us close. Of course, there's a real pitfall. Is sometimes we get so focused on the trees that we miss the forest. And that's why we do have the overarching themes of Korban Pesach and other mitzvahs, the Tamei HaMitzvahs, as I opened today's discussion with, the idea of linking into Briso Shel Avram Avinu, rejecting the shibud of Mitzrayim, rejecting the culture of Mitzrayim. Those are the meta themes. But says the Sefer HaChinuch, and they're very significant, the meta themes. The meta picture is exceptionally significant. The forest is really, really significant. However, when it comes to now expressing that love, the details become really, really important. And it's something to think about. I know in my period of Avelus over the past close to 2 years, so one thing as an Avel you're very, very makpid on, I'm makpid on, is to get to shul on time and to leave when shul is over. These are details perhaps. Does it really matter if I get there for the first bracha of davening that my tefillin is on? Does it matter that I keep my tefillin on till the very end of davening, till the last Kaddish? So I would posit to you, yeah, it does matter. It expresses an attitude, it expresses an approach to one's avodas Hashem. Are we just trying to check the boxes? I'm yotze zayin. Or no, we are tapping in a very, very real way to what it's all about, and thus the details, keeping on tefillin till the very end of davening becomes a real statement of what tefillin means to me. Getting to shul on time is a statement of what tefillah means to me. All of these things really, really do matter and express a certain connectivity, a certain attitude. That's what the Sefer HaChinuch, I believe, is saying. It's a very, very important idea, something we should really, really think about. Mitoch ha'ma'asim nimshachim halevavot. Have a wonderful Shabbos.